Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Nitin, and you're welcome to your favorite channel, Study with Nitin. I mean, it will become a favorite unless everybody views this channel. So, last time we left on the part 1.3, and we will continue with 1.3 other modes of nutrition in plants. So, I'm Nitin, and I will teach you today. Okay. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize food. How do they survive? And from where do they derive nutrition? Like humans and animals, such plants depend on food produced by other plants. They use the heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Look at figure 1.5. Do you see a yellow wiry branch structure twining around the stem and branches of the tree? So yeah, you can see this picture. So it may help you. So this is the picture of a plant called cascuta. You can see the yellow wiry thing. Yeah, this is called the cascuta. In Hindi, you can call it amarbil. It is a plant. It is called a parasite because it's in parasite because it depends on the host of it. Like virus. Virus is a parasite which goes into our body. We are the host for the virus. For example, the COVID-19. It can reproduce, grow, or build itself or repair itself only in an host because it needs food. Like virus comes inside us and can reproduce and do many things. And like this, amarbil, it can go on any host plant and just suck up all the material. And I can tell you this is not a symbiotic relationship because in this amarbil or cascuta taste the nutrients but do not give anything to it. So these plants are called cascuta or amarbil. It does not have chlorophyll. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. The plant on which it climbs is called the host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients here which are directed towards with an insect land in the picture. The lid closes and trapped insect gets entangled into the hair. The lid closes and the insect is trapped. The insect is digested by the digestive juices secreted in the picture plant and its nutrients are absorbed. Such insect-eating plants are called insectivorous plant. So now I can tell you why. And first of all, the thing I can say that you can read. Is it possible that such plants do not get all required nutrients from the soil in which they grew? Okay, Bojo is confused. If picture plant is green and carries out photosynthesis, then why does it feed on insects? Now I can tell you the main reason for this. The insectivorous plants. The insectivorous plants are the plants which grow in nitrogen deficient areas. Means they grow in the area where is a lack of nitrogen. Like there are some bacteria in the soil like rhizobium which help to convert the atmospheric nitrogen to the usable nitrogenous substance which are sucked by the plants and And that's why these insectivorous plants kill or prey on mosquitoes and other insects to take nitrogen, and it is important for it to produce amino. And yes, they do photosynthesis. Only the thing they need is the protein, which is helpful for them. Now we will talk about saprotrophs. You might have seen packets of mushroom solids sold in the vegetables of now markets. You may have also seen fluffy umbrella-like patches growing in the moist soils or rooting or on the rotting wood during the rainy season. Let us find out what type of nutrients they need to survive and from where they get them. So these are called fungi. It is a organism from fungus family, and it is a saprophyte. Let's read it continue further, then I will tell you about it more deeply. Bojo wants to know how these organisms acquire nutrients. Do not have mouths like animals do. They are not green plant as they lack chlorophyll and cannot make food by photosynthesis. Take a piece of bread and moisten it with water. Leave it in the moist warm place for 2 to 3 days until fluffy patches appear on them. You can see now when we take buy bread and we keep it in the fridge for many days, or we take apple, eat it, and just throw it in the dustbin and go outside, and when we come and see, oh my god, this apple is looking disgusting with green patches. That is called fungi. Observe patches under a microscope or a magnifying glass. Write down your observation in the notebook. You will see cotton-like threads on piece of bread. Spread on the piece of bread. These organisms are called fungi. As I told you, these organisms are called fungi. They have a different mode of nutrition. They absorb nutrients from the bread. This mode of nutrition is in which organism take in nutrient from dead or decaying matter is called saprotrophic nutrition. Such organisms with saprotrophic mode of nutrition are called saprotrophs. So this basically means the organisms which take nutrients from dead or decaying matter, like the piece of rotten wood. It is dead. It doesn't have now. It is dead. It was a part of a tree and it is now dead. And the fungus just sucks up all the nutrients from the dead or decaying matter. Then we go further. Fungi also grow on pickles, leather, clothes, and other articles that are left in hot and humid weather for a long time during the rainy season. They spoil many things. Ask your parent about the menace of fungi in your house. The fungal spores are generally present in the air, when they land on wet and warm things. They germinate and grow. Now, can you figure out how we can protect our things from getting spoiled? Okay, some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrients. This relationship is called symbiosis. For example, certain fungi live inside the root of plant. The plant provide nutrients to the fungi, and in return the fungi provides water and certain nutrients to it. Tell you the example for lichens. You know what is lichen? I will tell you in chapter 4. Lichen are used to extract litmus paper, and it is an indicator which help us to indicate which type it, if an substance is an have an acidic nature or a basic nature. We will talk about in chapter 4. A chlorophyll containing partner which I can tell you what is lichen. Lichen is just a symbiotic relationship between fungi and alga. Fungus and alga living together. Like algae have chlorophyll, it can do photosynthesis, and it gives food to fungus, and fungus give shelter, water, and certain mineral to the algae. A chlorophyll containing partner, which is the algae, and a fungus live together. The fungus provides shelter, water, and minerals to the algae, and in return the algae prepares and provides food to the fungus. How nutrients are replenished in the soil? I think so. With a few minutes, we will end this chapter. How nutrients are replenished in the soil. Like if a plant just sucked up all the nutrients and there are no nutrient left, then what would be done? Have you seen farmers spreading manure or fertilizer in the field, or gardeners using them in laws or in pots? Do you know why this is done? You learned that plants absorb minerals and nutrients from the soil, so their amount in the soil keep on declining. Fertilizers and manures contain nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. These nutrients need to be added from time to time to enrich the soil. We can grow plants and keep them healthy if we can fulfill the nutrient requirement of plant. So, do you know what the farmers do? They usually put manures and fertilizer. And have you seen the farmer putting cow dung in the farm? If you have visited an village, have you seen your grandfather or your any relative doing such type of activity? Or if your friends, if your village friend or village relative who lives in village, who does farming, have you seen him adding cow dung to the farm? Now, basically, what does it mean? That the cows and other animals which eat plants get the protein that plant sucked? Yes, they got the, and then the what they excrete is a nitrogenous waste, and it can help the plant to grow again and take the nutrients, suck the nutrients from the cow dung. It must be very disgusting, but it is very useful for farmers. Usually crop plants absorb a lot of nitrogen and the soil become deficient. And why do they? Nitrogen is the macronutrient for the plant, and phosphorus, potassium, these are the uh, macronutrients which they need more and more to do the life processes. And the micro are like iodine and many things comes under micro nutrients. The need, it is classified in two ways, that on the basis of the need, macronutrients and micronutrients. Like nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus comes under the macronutrients because they need more amount of these to do the life processes. Usually crop plants absorb a lot of nitrogen and the soil become deficient in nitrogen. You learn that though nitrogen gas is available in plenty in the air, plants can not use it in the manner they can use carbon dioxide. They need nitrogen in a soluble form. The bacteria called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a usable form, but rhizobium cannot make its own food. So then there is again a symbiotic relationship between rhizobium bacteria and the leguminous plant. Do you know what is legume? Like the grams, peas, moongs. These are the pulses, and the legumes like uh, vegetables like lettuce and many more. These are called legumes, and therefore they have small pellets or like very small nodules in their roots, in which this bacteria called rhizobium lives. It is again a symbiotic relationship between the plant and the rhizobium. The rhizobium makes the gaseous nitrogen into a soluble nitrogen, and the plant absorbs it. And now you are thinking, what does the plant give to rhizobium? The plants give food and shelter to the rhizobium. So the bacterium called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a usable form, but rhizobium cannot make it its own food. So it often lives in the roots of gram, peas, moons, beans, and other legumes, and provides them with nitrogen in return. In return, the plant provides food and shelter to the bacteria. They thus have a symbiotic relationship. The association is of great significance for the farmers. They can reduce the use of nitrogenous fertilizer where leguminous plants are grown. Most of the pulses are obtained from leguminous plants. In this chapter you learn that most of the plants are autotrophic, only few plants are parasitic or saprotrophic. They derive nutrition from other organisms. All animals are categorized as heterotrophic since they depend on plants and other animals for food. We can say that insectivorous plants are partially heterotrophic. So Now we can do some questions. So now we will do some questions. Um, so the question 1, why do organisms take food? You know all the answers. Why do organisms take food? The organism take food because the food contains important components of food which you can say nutrients, and which help us to grow, reproduce no not reproduce grow, build, repair, uh, give make our immune system stronger, and give us energy for our life processes. And the food have all these nutrients. That's why all organisms need food. Distinguish between a parasite and a saprotrophic. So what are parasites? So what are parasites? Oh, I can erase this. Distinguish between a parasite and a trophic. Parasites are the plants which are dependent on their host. They take food from the plant host, or the plant on which they live, but do not give anything in exchange of it. And parasitic plants do not have an symbiotic relationship. They do not have a symbiotic relationship. Please remember that they do not have a symbiotic relationship. How would you test the presence of starch in the leaf? So first you need to take 2 pots, keep one pot in the daylight and keep one pot in the dark for 72 hours. Check the daylight plant, take its leaf and do a iodine test on it. There will be a presence of starch, that's why the iodine will turn purplish, and thus it shows that the plant which was in the daylight did photosynthesis. In the second plant there will be nothing, and the iodine test would fail, and there would be no changes in the color of iodine solution. So it would say that the plant which was in the dark did not do any changes or did not do anything. But there was no photosynthesis process. So then we move further. Give a brief description of the process of synthesis of food in green plants. Okay, this answer is the raw materials that plant need for making its food are present in the surroundings. Carbon dioxide is taken from the air through the stomata, which are covered by guard cells, and the water and food are sucked by the roots or absorbed by the roots and transported to the leaves through the stem. Then the chlorophyll pigment in the chloroplast takes the sunlight, converts it into chemical energy, and breaks the bond of hydrogen and oxygen. The oxygen is then released from the stomata, and the hydrogen is mixed with the carbon dioxide to make carbohydrates. And further you can say that carbon dioxide plus H2O undergo process through chlorophyll and sunlight is equals to C6H12O6, the formula of carbohydrates, which you can say as glucose and oxygen as a byproduct. Show with the help of sketch that plants are the ultimate source of food. Yeah, you can draw a diagram of a plant in which you can show that the carbon dioxide is coming in through the stomata and the oxygen is going out, the water and minerals sucked from the roots, and this process, so it will show that the plant is an ultimate source of food. Fill in the blanks. Green plants are called dash since they synthesize their own food. Green plants are called autotrophs since they synthesize their own food. The food synthesized by plants is stored as glucose. In the photosynthesis, solar energy, or you can say the sunlight energy, is absorbed by the pigment called chlorophyll. During photosynthesis, plants take in carbon dioxide and release the oxygen gas. Name the following: a parasite plant with yellow cylinder and brown stem, we can say Cascuta or Amarbel in Hindi. A plant that is partially an autotroph, you can say an insectivorous plant, picture plant, or you can say a Venus flytrap. These are partially autotrophic because they do photosynthesis, but to fulfill their need of nitrogen, they prey on insects. The pores through which leaf exchanges gas, we can say the stomata. The stomata is used for the exchanges of gas and the transpiration. Transpiration is a process of removal of excess water from the leaf. Take the correct answer. Coscuta is an example of autotrophic parasite, saprotrophic host. Parasite, as you all know, the plant which traps and feeds on insect is Coscuta, China rose, pitcher plant rose. Pitcher plant, I just give an example for the plant that is partially autotrophic. Match the items given in the column 1 with those in column 2. So chlorophyll is equal to leaf, nitrogen is equal to rhizobium, Cuscuta is equal to parasite, animal is equal to heterotrophs, and insect is equal to picture plant. You can just take a screenshot for it and done for this. It is now erased, so you could pause and just mark it on your book. Mark T if the statement is true or false. Carbon dioxide is released during photosynthesis. False. But it is partially true. No. It is false. Carbon dioxide is released in the night. In some plants, it doesn't release the carbon dioxide in night. But many plants release carbon dioxide in night, but there is no process of photosynthesis done in the night. The plant take oxygen and release carbon dioxide as we human do, but there is no process of making food in the night. Just for survival, they take oxygen and release carbon dioxide in the night. Plant which synthesize their food are called saprotrophs. True? No. False. Plant which synthesize their food are called autotrophs. This is false. The product of photosynthesis is not a protein. True. The product of photosynthesis is carbohydrates and that is not proteins. So it is false. Solar energy is converted into chemical energy during photosynthesis. True. The other question we will do tomorrow, or we will finish this part here and we will start another part tomorrow, the nutrition in animals. Thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from this. Bye bye.